A very good morning to you, Crafty Lot. So today is me. I have to thank Sarah for doing the Facebook Lives for the last few days. I managed to have a couple of days off at the weekend, but then I found some other bits of pieces to do and craft. So still went to bed late every single night, I guess. Today we're going to be working with these seed beads and crystals, and we're going to be attaching a lovely pendant at the bottom. I love these necklaces because they're really easy to make, and I think they are really stunning and elegant. So you can have something you don't have to sort of add, you could do this with pearls as well, but I love them to do with the crystal just to add the extra sparkle. We're going to use a right angle weave technique, more like a leather stitch, I guess, because we're going to be using 2 needles to create our base, and then we're going to come back and sew the crystals on the top of it. I love this purple color. This is one of my favorites. I hope everybody's all right this morning. The weather doesn't look very good, but hey ho. I don't know where is that heat wave, what Sarah's been promising last week that it's coming. I'm really looking forward to some really nice and good weather. And that's the Clear AB. I love this one as well. Goes with loads of different things. Think about bridal as well. Because hopefully soon we can be able to go to weddings again. And I love this one. This is such a nice summer color with the pale yellow beads. We called it sunshine, and pale yellow seed beads, and sort of I think the crystals are called corn. They just really nicely go together. Right, so the only color I haven't got sample here is the blue, which I'm going to demo with, and hopefully that color is going to come up really nice. I'm just going to move this out of the way. I'm going to quickly say hello to everybody. So before I turn you down, and we're going to use, turn you down, and well, your turn down, sorry. And we start beading. So 2 needle technique. You're going to get 2 needles to do it. Morning, Brenda, Chef, Jen, Alicia, Margaret, Brenda. Oh, Sarah is watching. Morning, Sarah. Morning, Dean, Marcia, Michelle, Karen, Paula, Linda, and Tida. Margaret, Camille, Judith, Lucy, Carol, Chef, Sharon, Annie, Leanne, Leslie, Betty, Pamela, Lorna, Angela. Oh, Sarah is saying the sun is coming. I really hope so. Fingers crossed, eh? Morning, Dorothy, Leanne, Linda, Doris, Jax, Sue, Debbie. Oh my God, there's so many lovely ladies and gentlemen here this morning. Morning, Diane, Alison, Holly, Judith, Pamela, Sarah, Jen. Right, I prepared my thread, so I cut approximately a couple of meters. I won't be able to show you both ways, but I added a needle on either end of them, and we're gonna start by adding the clasp. Now, before actually I go any further, I just want to show you the colors you can get on the website. So if you go on our website, I think Sarah noticed this yesterday, we have been playing around with the categories and we've been moving things about. So now the Facebook tutorials is right the 4th one from the top, so you can really easily and quickly find it. And over the coming weeks, we just want to sort of tidy up the website and reduce these categories so it will be easier to find whatever you've looking for on the website. So if you go into the Facebook tutorials, today one is the Sienna jewelry. Yesterday Sarah was doing a snowflake one, and oh my word, it was so busy. I think the bundle sold out like 2 or 3 times throughout the day. It was a really I'm so glad you loved it, because I love snowflake jewelry myself as well. Right, going into Sienna, we got quite a few different colors here. You got amethyst, you got aquamarine, you got crystal A-beam, you got electric teal, you got indigo, you got pink, and you got sunshine yellow here. So they all $9.99 on the website. However, if you put the discount code Sienna at the checkout, you will get 20% off of your kit. So Sienna is SIENNA at the checkout, and you will get 20% off of your kit. Right, so let's get started. We're gonna start with the clasp straight away, so it will be nice and easy. We're starting at, let me just bring in one of the finished samples, starting at one end of the necklace, gonna come all the way down to the middle, attach our little drop shape. I love these Baroque crystals, and go all the way back to the top. So the first thing you're gonna need to do is to pick up your magnetic clasp, just go through the loop on it and let it go right down in the middle. Now, when I do a 2-needle technique, what I actually like to do, I like to open up my magnetic clasp and get something. I got sort of a little block at home, a little metal block, which is quite heavy. I can put on a table. I just found this downstairs. This is for our scales, and let the clasp, the magnet in the clasp, to sort of just to sit on that little metal, whatever you use really. This one might not be ideal because it might roll around, but it just gives you a secure point so your beading is not going to jump all the way all around. So now the next step we need to do is we're going to pick up a seed bead, and we're going to take this all the way down. Then I'm gonna take my other needle and take that needle through these seed beads as well, so I get a nice pointy end here. We're gonna come back later on and reinforce the thread path with our clasp, so don't worry about this. Pull this right nice to the up, so we got a nice point. One seed bead is connecting to our clasp. Now I'm gonna pick up 3 seed beads onto one needle. Take this all the way down. I'm gonna pick up another 3 seed beads on another needle. Take this down. And now I need to cross over it with 3 seed beads. So it doesn't matter which needle you start or which you want to add it on first. I'm going to add it on my left one. Take this down. So my needle is going that way, that direction. And quite simply, I'm going to come through from the other direction with my other needle. Now, what I like to do, I like to wrap this around my finger, or just hold it down my finger, the thread and the beads right on the top of it. So when I come from the other direction, then I got less of a chance to crossing my thread path. And once you've done that, just pull this tight, and we got a little triangle there. Now you need to repeat this over and over again. So I'm going to pick up 3 on one side, 3 on the other side.
Leanne has asked, is the 2-needle technique considered an advanced technique, or do you approach everything as you're learning with practice?
That's Molly. So yeah, I didn't say Molly's here today, and she's going to do the comments for us. So because I'm at the warehouse, bless her, she doesn't have to text you. She can just read the comments out, which is great. Yes, so I find different techniques work with different, I guess, ways. I love to use the 2-needle technique on this one because you get a much even finish, because when you're pulling your needle through, so you could do a right angle weave when you go around in squares all the way down, spiraling down in your beading. But if you do a 2-needle technique here, and I'm just going to show you, when I'm pulling this tight, you can see I'm pulling it both at the same time, and I get a much even finish and a nice square. Obviously, when we're gonna do a few more, and that's when it's really you're gonna see when it's growing that it's really easy. Sometimes I would prefer 1-needle technique, I guess, because it's just sort of easier, and I can sit there and just go through my beads as I go along. But something like this, it's really worth to do the 2-needle technique, because you get a nicer and neater and even more even finish. And I'm just going through those 3.
Diane has asked, is this the same as the tennis bracelet Sarah did in May?
It's a very similar technique. I'm obviously gonna come down and turn the corner as I'm gonna be attaching my pendant, and I think Sarah did a slightly different bead count. So this is why, like, we do very similar things, but we have our own take on it. So we'll have slightly different. I think she was picking up. If Sarah here, can you? Oh, Sarah's saying same materials and different finish. Yes, I think she did it and picked up the seed beads. There's a different seed bead count because I'm doing it in 3s and I think she was doing it in 2s maybe. I'm not quite sure. But it's so many tutorials over the last few weeks that like you go along and you forget the whole, gosh, how many, 17 weeks now have you been doing it? So 17 times 7 is a lot of tutorials. And I'm just going to carry on adding a few of my little squares on either side. Doesn't matter which one I'm crossing over in. So if you just joined, we attached our clasp, so we have a nice and strong finish straight from our clasp, and then we adding our beads as we go along. So we're working with 2 needles, which means we got 2 ends of the thread, and on one side, as you're trying to do these little squares on one side, on both sides, sorry, you add 3 seed beads, and I just pull this up nice and tight, and you need to cross over in 3 seed beads in the middle. So when I'm saying sides, this is one side, that's the other side, and this is when I'm crossing over. So I'll pick up 3 seed beads. It doesn't matter which one you start with, if you start with the right or you start with the left, and pick up another 3 seed beads on the other side. Take this down as well. And then it again doesn't matter which needle you pick up, the 3 seed beads, but you cross over. But you need to make sure that if this needle is going this direction in the seed beads, actually let me just move these seed beads down slightly so you can see better, because they're right in front of there, and we're gonna move our squares right there, and that's it. So I picked up the 3 seed beads, and if my needle is going sort of to the right here, then with the other needle, when you take this down, you need to go towards the left. I'm just going to take these down. I like to wrap it around my finger. So with this one, the beads are sitting on the top. As you can see, I'm holding the thread down. And when I'm coming through from the other side, I got less of a chance to actually sew through my thread and pierce it. Because if you pierce your thread in one place, it will be harder to pull your beads down. So just keep adding your squares all the way down. 3 on one side, 3 on the other side, and then usually when I add the second 3, I actually, to make things quicker, I usually add 6 on this side, and then I just come back through from my needle end towards my end where the clasp is with the other needle, and pull this tight. So this frame shouldn't take you too long to do, I guess. 3 on one side, and I'm gonna straight add 6 on the other side. Take this down. I think you need to work out what is the best way for you to hold it. For me, it really helps if because we're working with a magnetic clasp, if I attach the magnetic clasp to something metal, because if I didn't have here, and I'm just going to show you, when I'm pulling my work tight, I then can make the work in front of me sort of jump around, and I suppose that's what frustrates me, that you keep having to chase your work as you're pulling your thread. So I'm just going to show you, if you don't add your clasp, I'm still going through the last 3, and see, as I'm pulling it through, it didn't do it this time, but it can sort of jump around. So if you got something metal, just stick your clasp bit, and you got something nice and solid to hold on to there. And just keep adding. I'm going to add a few squares. I'm going to make a mini necklace. 1, 2, 3, 5. It doesn't matter which side you add the 6 bead. One side you add 3, the other one at 6, and you come back through the 3 from the end where your needle is towards your clasp. So there's 2 different ways, I suppose, you can think. I like to think it adding 3 and 3 and crossing over in 3 in the middle, but it's whatever is most comfortable for you. Sorry if I'm missing some of your comments. I will go back. Oh, Betty's saying my washing is dry. It's not raining yet. Oh, I love that you have like little conversations between each other. I think quite a few of you made a little crafty friends here on Facebook. I know one of the ladies, she said there is a lady from Canada she's been talking to. So I think it's great. We are here every morning at 10 a.m. Come rain, come sunshine, hail or snow, at the moment, for the foreseeable future, we will be continuing these Facebook Lives doing something different every single morning. But even though if like me and Sarah would do the same technique, we would come up with probably completely different, or use the same materials, we would come up with something completely different. And I'm just taking, so as you can see, I probably got about 4 inches there already. I'm just going to add a few more, and then we're going to turn a corner. And so if you just joined us, I'm doing a 2 needle right angle weave or ladder stitch, you could call it, because we're making sort of a pattern with our beads, look like a ladder. And this is going to be the base of our necklace. And then we're going to come back on later on and add our crystals. When we add the crystals, it will straighten out our squares. And they're going to look really good. But as you can see, because I'm using the 2 needle, I get quite a nice and even. So if I was doing right angle weave and I would be snaking all the way around, sort of going around my beads, one side would always have 2 threads going through them, and the other side would only have 1. So where if you just do it with 1 needle, one side is always going to be tighter than the other side, and you could get a little bit of a jagged look with it. So that's why it's great to do with 2 needles. Have you got any questions and any good comments, Molly? Don't like Molly, bless her, she's a little bit shy. I said, well, you need to talk a bit louder and just sort of read things out, bless her.
There's just a lot of talk about whether a lot of people want grey skies.
Oh, yeah. Sarah promised us a heat wave. Where is that heat wave, Sarah? I really want to have, really like, you know, I'm desperate for some good weather, I guess. Some really hot, nice weather, so we can get all our nice summer dresses out. Go down to the beach, have some nice walks. We're not going to go away on holiday this year, so we're going to have a little holiday at home, I guess. So fingers crossed for the weather. So I'm keep sort of swapping my sides and just adding my seed beads. I'm just going to add a few more, and then I'm going to turn a corner very quickly. It does, this necklace does grow. 1, 2, 3.
Sarah said that the weatherman has been telling her fibs.
Ah, naughty weatherman, eh? Naughty, naughty weatherman. Oh, I think I got a little knot on my bead. So what happened, the thread is just crossed over on the last bead I just added. So what I'm going to do, and how I like to get rid of my knot, is get a couple of needles. I'm going to use it like you would use, I guess, knitting pin. And I'm going to stick 1 needle right into that knot and then pull the bead or pull the thread with the other needle to make this come back out. That's it. think it's just this looped around this bead. So it's just easier to, if I then would have pulled my thread tight, this would have really tightened on there. This seed bead need to come through this loop. Have you done it? Oh, it always happens when you don't want it to happen. That's it. Oh, we're not free. Great. So if you have a knot in your beadwork, you can always do that. Just to get a couple of new needles, or you can use the needles what you're using, and just go in on the knot, pin it down with one, and unpick it with the other. Right. So we're going to turn a corner just in a sec. I just want to add a few. Now, equally what you could do with this necklace, because if you had an extra clasp, which I'm going to be doing now, you could make a, if you've got an extra clasp, you could make a bracelet first, a bracelet size, and then make a front piece of a necklace to suit that bracelet, to lengthen it all. And then you will have like a little bit of a 2-in-1 jewelry, I guess, because these magnetic clasps are so nice and decorative. You don't mind having them at the front of your necklace, and they sort of become your design feature in there as well.
Mina has asked, I think that's right, is 20% for 1 week?
Yes, it is. So we've tried to do different discounts, and sometimes some people, when they watch the videos later on, they miss out on the bundles and other bits and pieces what we're doing. So now and then we do like a flat discount, which we did today, which is 20% off. So if you pop any of the kits in the basket, and at the checkout you add Sienna, which is SIENNA, into the discount voucher code box, you will have 20% off the kit. It doesn't matter how many you order, you're going to have 20% off all of them if you order more than one. Because if you're watching this later on, if you watch, I'm just sort of quite conscious that people have been going back to work this week and they're catching up with the videos later on. I'm just trying to do a few different bits.
We have a good morning from Cape Town, from Alison.
Oh, good morning, Alison in Cape Town. Oh, I'm so glad, and I'm so baffled about the internet, that with the power of the internet, we can go around the world, and we had people here from America, we had people here from New Zealand, Australia, all over Finland, all over the world. And if you are new today, and you are like, you know, any part of the world you are from, even if you're just the UK, just say hello and say where you're watching from, because we had a lady from Hawaii the other day, which was like fantastic. And I said I was so jealous, because that's one of my dream destinations, to go to Hawaii. Well, I don't know if I ever get there, but that's one of my dream destinations. So if you're new today, please do say hello and say where you are from, where you're watching from. We just love to know where are you from.
Brenda has asked if you're in the warehouse all day today.
I am here today, so usually sometimes I do the Facebook Lives from home, but today, because I got quite a lot getting on, I was supposed to go down to IKEA with my daughter this afternoon, but I changed my days around, so we're going to go tomorrow. She's desperate for a new bed and some bedroom furniture. So she's 13, and she had that pink bed she's got now for 10 years, I think, or maybe a little bit more, That was the first bed we bought her, and it's bright pink. And I think now she's thinking, well, I'm 13 now, I would like something a little bit more stylish than a pink bed. But we're going to go tomorrow, because I got quite a lot of things to finish, and we worked out some new, we had to swap some dates for next week with Sarah, because she's got the go-ahead that they're going to do her floors, and she's going to have to dismantle her office, bless her. She has to, she already moved in like 3 months ago, and now she has to take all the furniture out from the downstairs so they can do the floor for her. and she won't be able to do the videos next week. So we had to swap some about, and I thought, great, I got a couple of new projects I've been dying to do. So very quickly I got the things out yesterday, the beads what I need for them, and we started making some samples and working out some thread paths. So I'm going to have to do some instructions for it so I can do it for you on Monday. It's going to be, it's netting and using pearls, but it's something a little bit sort of, I think it's really elegant. And you think you've seen one of them yesterday, Molly, haven't you?
Yeah, they're actually very pretty. Well, you got a lot of people. You got a few from Dublin, Washington State, Massachusetts, Scotland, New Zealand.
Oh, wow. Right, so I think we got enough length for a little front piece for our necklace. I'm going to turn a corner now. So what I really want to do is to turn my corner. So I'm going to, as I'm coming down on one side, I'm going to go back on the other side up. So I want a really nice V shape in my necklace. So this case, what we're going to do, you're going to pick up 3 seed beads on one side. Take this all the way down. And then I'm going to pick up 9 seed beads on my other strand. 6, 7, 8, 9. So before we were picking up 3 on one side and 3 on the other side and crossing over in the 3 to form our ladder. This time I want 3 on this side, 9 on the other side, and I'm going to come back through these 3. So almost going completely around with one of my threads, and as you can see, we changed our direction straight away. So I'm just going to move this around a little bit, just like that, and now my top part is right here. Sorry, I think 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm ever so sorry. I think I picked up more beads what I needed, so I need to take back 3. Oh, it happens to all of us. I was trying to count and talk at the same time. Sarah was saying sometimes it's really hard to do. So I picked up 3 extra beads. So 3 on one side, sorry, 6 on the other side, and you turn your corner. So now we're gonna come down with our leather this direction, and again you're gonna go back to the same thing what you've been doing. So there is 2 ways to look at this, that you adding 3 to one side, 3 to the other side. It's whichever way is more sort of comfortable for you, whichever way is better for you to remember. And then we're gonna cross over in 3. So 3 on one side, 3 on the other side, and we're crossing over in 3 seed beads. So I'm going to take this down, and I added this to my right needle. So my needle was going that way. I'm then going to hold this up on my fingers, just on the tip of it, holding the thread down nice and tight. So the thread path in the beads is right at the bottom of them, and I'm going to come through towards the other way with my needles. So one needle went to the left and the other needle is going to the right, and then I can pull this nice and tight. And as you can see, we turned a corner here, created that lovely V shape. So the other way, which I usually sort of just makes a little bit thicker, quicker, I'm adding 6 beads to one side straight away, 3 beads onto the other side, and then just coming back through the 3 here from the needle end towards my beading end, and just pull this nice and tight. Now what you need to make sure that you have exactly the same amount of squares on this side as well, going up towards your clasp. So you're going to be adding and going around. So how's the weather all around the world? So we had people from, did you say Cape Town? What where the other places?
Dublin.
Dublin. How's the weather in Dublin? Don't say it's sunshine and 25 degrees, because then we're going to be super jealous, because you're only next door to us, as we are from the UK.
There is sunshine in Scotland, hate to say it.
Sunshine in Scotland. Oh, great. Well, if you are next door to us as well, so please do send a little bit of sunshine down to us. Just like a 4 hours worth in the afternoon, maybe after work. It would be really nice. We could go for a nice walk on the beach then.
And in Cape Town, it's magnificent.
Oh, we are super jealous.
Just to rub it in.
Oh, I'm always like I'm coming originally I came from Hungary, so Hungary, the weather, even in the summer, if it rains, it would rain a couple of hours and then it would be nice and sunny, and you would pretty much have know what sort of weather, or it would rain during the night, and you would know what sort of weather you would be having that day or next week, because it's pretty like consistent. And I never understood that my father-in-law, my husband is English, and my father-in-law, they sort of moved to Spain. They got an apartment to Spain, and every single time he phones up from Spain, the first question he asks is like, "Oh, how's the weather?" And I'm sitting there thinking, why do you want to know? You are in sunny Spain, you got 30 degrees, sunshine, and really nice weather. Why would you know if it's raining here or not? And then I realized, because the weather changes so often here in the UK, so you could have really nice and sunny and warm weather in the morning and windy and rainy in the afternoon, or vice versa, that it changes so much that you have to wear layers. You can't just wear a t-shirt and a cardigan. You have to wear layers to be able to sort of take your jumper cardigan off, or put another woolly jumper on if it gets colder. I guess the weather changes so much here in the UK, so that's why people, I suppose, talk about it so much and want to know how it is. And I think it's really cute. It's always the topic of the conversation, that how's the weather. I don't know. Is it the same in Ireland? Because I suppose the weather would be the same there as well. That do people talk a lot about weather in Ireland? Who was that lady from Ireland? Molly?
There she was further up.
She's just gonna have a look. Sorry, I forgot your name. It just say like different nationalities got different. I suppose these are little habits you do.
Is it Geraldine, I think that's how you say it.
Geraldine. So Geraldine, do let us know if in Ireland, because you must have very similar weather to us, that is it like always the topic, talking about the weather, or is it just here in England? How about Scotland? So if you just joined, I'm doing a little sort of right angle weave ladder stitch. I'm doing a 2-needle technique because I can get a much nicer and tighter tension with 2 needles than if I was doing with 1 needle. If I was doing, you could do the same pattern with 1 needle, but you would end up with, as you forming your squares, at the moment, I got a thread on either side and crossing over in the middle. If I was doing with 1 thread, I would need to go around in sort of like a snake-like motion, spiraling all the way down, where I would end up with 2 threads on one side and only 1 thread on the other side. And that can, unless if you hold a really tight tension, that can make your necklace a little bit sort of zigzaggy, jaggedy with the tension. Sharon is saying, yes, weather is the same in Belfast. I probably don't need this now because I got quite a good length there. So my bracelet has got a little bit of weight to it, so it's not going to jump about. Not bracelet, sorry, necklace. It's not going to jump around. I'm just going to add a few more squares to match the other side, and then we're gonna add the top onto it. I should have probably prepared one of these before you, so I could just very quickly show you adding the top. Now thinking about it, I just love doing beading. I love doing these Facebook Lives because usually in a normal day of life, or when I'm not doing the Facebook Lives, I've got so much other things to sort out. And I think it's the same for Sarah as well, that you got so much things to sort out. You know, not just like work-wise, but in home and everywhere else, that you never really get a nice hour just to sit down and do some beading. And we really enjoy this Facebook Live because we absolutely love beading. And now I can sit here for an hour and just bead. And no one is asking me any questions that, what do I do with this, or where do I put that? I can just sit there and bead. Or even the children learned at home now as well that when I'm doing the Facebook Lives, they can't come in and interrupt. Otherwise, if when they're at home, it's every half an hour, oh, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, I need this, can you help me with that? If I'm lucky. If I'm not, then it's every 5 minutes. But now they're a little bit older, I suppose. They're getting a little bit better. Right, so I'm keep adding my squares. So if you just joined, we are doing a right angle weave, or also a 2-needle technique, also called as ladder stitch. And it's a really great and easy way to have a very even base for your crystals. This is going to house our crystals later on. Now there's 2 ways you can look at it, and one is that you add, it depends on what, I suppose our brains work slightly differently, and depending on how you look at your beadwork. So you could look at it this way. Oh, I just caught the thread there. You could look at it this way, that you add 3 seed beads on either one of your strands, either one of your needles. I've taken about a couple of meters of thread, added a needle to each end, and working straight from the clasp. So add 3 seed beads to either side, then you add a further 3 seed beads. You take 1 needle to one way, and then you bring the other needle from the other side. So 1 needle went that way, the other one is going to come back on itself. I like to hold the seed beads on the top of my finger. So with that, I make sure the thread, which is already in the seed beads, are sunk to the bottom of the hole, because I tighten it up on there. And then the new thread, when I'm going through with the second needle, I got really a little chance of piercing the thread and making it really nice and easy so I can slide my beads down. Now the other way to look at this, that you're picking up 6 beads straight on one side. It doesn't matter which side you start with, and then you pick up 3 to the other side and come back through the 3, the second 3 out of the 6 you added, and you keep going and doing that. Really easy technique. Very relaxing as well. Using 2 needles, your tension is going to be so much better than with 1 needle. So it's perfect for beginners as well. I just want to match the squares on this side as many we had on the other side.
Doris has asked, Kitty, how is your kitchen ceiling and did you get it fixed?
Oh, it wasn't the kitchen, lovely. It was the dining room. And hopefully, fingers, really, I'm crossing fingers all over now, and legs and toes and everything I can cross. They're going to be starting the end of next week, because the plaster, what you need, they're basically going to take the ceiling down. They're going to put insulation in there because there is no insulation. It's a really old house, and they're going to re-plasterboard it and plaster it over. And basically for the last 3 months that you could not buy plaster at all. Usually plaster, as I was informed, is about £7 to £9 a bag, and the prices went up to that. They were like £40 a bag. I think some people were buying it up and selling it on, but we had a shortage of the plaster, so we couldn't. It's not fixed yet, but now we are very lucky because there's a builder lives right next door to us. He said he's got, I think, 40 bags of plaster coming in or something like that. He was on the waiting list for it. So it's not just our job. Obviously, he's doing other jobs as well. And it will be in the early part of next week, so they can start the later end of next week, which I'm really looking forward to it. I already sort of picked the color, but I hope Simon's not watching because I haven't told him yet. Gooseberry green for the walls, and we had that sort of color in our lounge in the old house, and it's a really nice, very sort of soft green, got a hint of olive in it. I just really loved it, so I think it will be great for the dining room. But yeah, and then we can decorate it. So we'll be doing loads of paint, and we'll be doing painting as well, not just Sarah. Right, so let's just see. We need 1, 2, let me just take this up. If I put it side by side, just count up how many more squares I need, because I want this really nice and even, although I'm gonna use this as a front piece on my neck, and I'm gonna have a little extender going to the back, so I can wear it like a bracelet size or wear it as a necklace size. I just need nice and even crosses at the front, so I need, that's that one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more, and then we are ready to add the clasp on this side as well. And later on I'm just gonna make an extender piece to go to the back with another clasp, so you will need an extra clasp as well if you want to do that, which is basically you start but you don't need to turn a corner, you just do a straight strip of beading.
Jean has asked, looking at the sample, have you added more at the bottom to make the point? Sorry if you've already explained as I was late.
No, when we're gonna add the bottom, these seed beads, when we add the crystals on the top. So don't worry, I just need to do 5 squares, and then we're gonna add the other end of the clasp, and we're gonna turn around and add the crystals in, and that's just really quickly. You're gonna go down working with 1 needle, and it's gonna be really quickly added. So 1, I'm adding another square. I love this technique, it's really nice and easy, and just very, I love the results as well, because the necklace you get is really elegant. I mean, you can use other ones as well. These are 4mm crystals on there. If you wanted, you could do it with pearls. That would look really cute as well. Or hematite beads, or anything which is 4mm will house that little squares what you're making. So I like to have the thread wrapped around my finger, and this is what I was saying, because when I'm pulling this thread down, as you can see, the beads are sort of puckered to the top on my finger, and when I'm coming through this, I'm sure that I'm not gonna pierce the thread, and I can pull it nice and tight. Was that 2 squares or 3 squares I just added? Now I add another couple, and then we go back and double check it, because there's nothing wrong than nothing worse than having like a wonky necklace. Oh, that drives me mad. So if I do anything like that, or if I go anything wrong, I have to go back and correct myself. And I know this was a couple of years ago, I was making these samples. I think it was for TV, and it was the Majestic Rivoli one, and you sort of go around your rivolis and you do like a netted casing around them, and then you can like either turn them into a pendant, or you can sew them all together, and you can have a nice necklace, a really pretty pattern. Actually, I must add that one to the Facebook Lives, because that's a really nice and enjoyable one to do. And I was, for about an hour and a half one evening, I just couldn't sleep. I was sitting there and adding all the rivolis together, sewing them all together, and I was just about to finish when I realized that I made a mistake right at the beginning. So I had to go back, and took me another half an hour to unpick it, what I did. So in 2 hours I was back in the same position like when I started. But it happens to all of us, I guess. So I just always sort of like to make sure, go back on it. I'm just sort of pulling the squares nice side by side, just to make sure that I got the same amount, I'm just visually looking at it because I'm suppose I'm kind of the same, that you can't talk and count at the same time. But I think, yes, we got exactly the right amount. Cool. So on this side, we're going to be adding the other end of the magnetic clasp first. So as we coming out of our last squares, we're gonna need to make this into a pointy end. So I'm just gonna pick up 3 seed beads to either one of my needle and take it all the way down. Then as we did at the beginning, we're gonna take, oops, I'm just, see, this is what I'm saying, when you haven't got your work tied down or anchored down like we did at the beginning, when you pull it, it can sort of jump about the place. So 3 seed beads on either side, then I'm going to add 1 seed bead. Take this down. Now I don't want to cross over in this seed bead. I want to come in the same direction. So both of my threads, both of my needles is facing the same way, and pull this up. So if I pull this nice and tight, you can see we created a pointy end. Now I'm going to take one of the needles through the loop on the clasp, and quite easily I'm just going to tie this together. So I'm just doing a left over right, right over left, a square knot. And what I'm going to do, before I go back into the bead, I'm going to go through the loop again, and that will just sort of make sure that the knot we created doesn't sink into the bead itself, because sometimes if it sinks into it, then it will be hard to go through again. So I'm going to go through the top single seed bead we added, down the side of the 3 seed beads. I'm going to pop this down just for a sec. And what we're going to be doing here, we're going to zigzagging. I need to get my crystals. The crystals onto the top. And this becomes a really quick, I guess, action. So I need to cross over into the first 3. So I come down on one side. It doesn't matter which side you come down or which thread you use. And cross over into the middle 3. And I'm going to pull this my thread through. Quite simply, I'm just going to pick up a crystal, let this crystal to go all the way down, and I want a sort of Z shape here. So all the way down, I'm going to take it diagonally across my first square and come through the next 3 in the middle. Just like that. And you're going to repeat this over and over again. So pick up a crystal, I'm going to let it go all the way down, take my thread diagonally across and go through the 3 middle beads again. Just like that. I like to slightly, it doesn't matter, I guess, if you take your thread down or not. Take the bead down all the way before you add it. You can just pick it up and pull it across. But I guess if you take it down, you just know exactly where is it going to go. And very easily, you're going to add all your crystals all the way down to the middle. Now, because you always going through the same position in each square as you go along, in the middle 3, your beads are all going to sit in a nice and neat direction. They're all going to sit on the same direction. You don't want to sort of jump from one side to another. You're always adding it to the same way. That's it. And as I'm just go down, if like doesn't want to pop into the middle, just sort of tap it with your hand so the beads can go nice in the middle. I'm not doing a very tight tension when I'm doing my decorations because I am working with bicones, and these ones are premium quality bicones, so they got a really nice edge to them. But sometimes you can get a naughty bicone if you got or if you use some cheaper quality ones. Sometimes they can have a edge right at the top where it's been cut, that it's a little bit sharp and it can cut your thread. So I'm not pulling it too tight. I'm just having a nice sort of, not loose, but nice and even tension there. But the crystal is not really going to hold up your necklace, because it's your base row, what you created with the seed beads, is going to hold up your necklace. And as I said, you could do this with pearls, or you could make patterns as well if you like. You could alter crystals and pearls. Excuse me. I just need a sip of my drink. The kits come with crystals, so we got quite a few colors on the website. Do have a look. There's 20% off of the kits. So if you add them to your basket and at the checkout, you need to add the word Sienna, SIENNA, to the discount code sort of box, and you will have 20% off of the kits. Even if you buy multiple kits, you can have 20% off all of them. Such a nice and elegant. And don't forget, each of the kit comes with all the seed beads, comes with all the crystals. You get a larger pendant for your necklace, and you get 2 smaller pendants to make matching earrings with it as well. So it creates a really lovely set of jewelry. And I'll show you the earrings in a minute. I'm right down in the middle. I just want to show you how to add your pendant. And I think that's it really. It's a very nice and easy technique. I'm almost right down to the middle. Keep going through the 3 seed beads in the middle, pulling my crystal up. And pulling it through. So I'm right down in the middle here. I'm going through. If I put this down, I'll just actually take this through. If I pop this in there, right, so I'm right here. This is my middle skirt. This is where we turned before. So I want if you look at these 12 seed beads as a sort of square or sort of a cube shape, you got 3 attached to this side, 3 attached to that side, and you got 6 at the bottom. So you want to come out with your pendant with right sort of through the middle of this one, going all the way down. Now, to get there, you just need to weave your thread around, or you could add actually, let's add this crystal in here. So I'm just going to add this last crystal. So again, I'm going to treat this as a square. And as I'm coming out on the top here, I'm going to go up through. I'm just going to add the crystal so you will take a shape. Take the square shape at the bottom. Come up through this, so it's following that path. So this will be then the bottom. Now we need to go around this square so we come out right at the bottom of that crystal. So I'm just following the thread path I created before, just going round, and I'm just going to turn this. So I like to bead away from myself, so I often sort of turn the jewelry around. So I'm coming right in the middle. I got 3 seed beads either side of my thread when I'm coming out, and right directly below that crystal. And then you're just gonna pick up a pattern of beads. So I'm gonna pick up 2 seed beads. I'm gonna pick up the lovely pendant. Oh, they are here. So I'm gonna put the 2 little ones to the side for the earrings. I picked up 2 seed beads. I'm actually gonna pick up a crystal because I want a little length here. But you don't have to. You could just sort of straight put this right at the top. But I like to add a little length there, so it dangles a little bit more, I guess. So I'm gonna pick up a crystal. Then I'm gonna pick up 4 seed bead because as you can see, the hole is probably about 4 millimeter in, and you want this, you don't want this connection tight because then you won't get any movement in there. So 2 seed beads, crystal, 4 seed beads, go through the hole on your pendant. Then you're gonna pick up another 4 seed beads, and you're gonna go up through the crystal and the 2 seed beads. And what I like to do before I go any further, I would go around. So you can see that before I picked up the pendant, my thread was coming from this side. So it's coming out of this seed bead right at the bottom. So I was coming this way with my thread. And now I want to have this nice and even in the middle. I'm gonna go around the other side. So I got a thread coming out of both sides. Pull this nice and tight. And before I do anything else, I'm gonna go around these beads just one more time to reinforce just this middle section, just to reinforce my pendant, so to make sure I don't have any loose connection there. Pull this out. Make sure, sort of trying to turn it because I don't want to get my thread caught on there. And I'm gonna go back down the pendant as well, following the beads I just added, going down on one side and coming up through the other side. Now, and I'm gonna go to the section where I haven't added the crystals yet, but what I really want to do, I don't want to add them the same direction because this is gonna be on the other side. So I'm just gonna come up in the middle. So these crystals, if I would carry on with the same pattern, then they would sit sort of that way, and I don't want them to sit sort of the same way as this one because we turned the V shape here. Now I want to turn the direction of my crystals as well, so they again gonna sit exactly the same way. So I need to alter my zigzag. So I need to go up these 3 beads on the bottom, go into the middle 3, go through this middle 3,
Natalie's asked if the colour you're using, would you say it's close to royal blue?
yes, so this is sapphire blue, the seed beads, and the crystals are royal blue. And the reason I choose this color, so you have a nice constructing color for you to show you the weave itself. So if I just went up the 3 and the 3 and I picked up the crystals, and this is where I can show you what I was meaning, that you need to change direction. If I zigzag this, the crystal is gonna sit the wrong way, so I need to turn my thread around. So I'm gonna take this crystal back off. I'm gonna go through that loop, that first square, up and around it, just following the thread path I created, and I want to come down. I'm just gonna stop on the side here, then I'm gonna pick up my crystal. And now if I take this diagonally across, you can see the crystal is gonna sit exactly the same way as the neighboring one. And I'm gonna come back through the middle 3s. Sort of, this is the only thing you have to be careful when you're doing your weaving, that you might, after adding your crystal in the middle, you might have to sort of go around, run around your square to make sure you have the right directions of the crystals there, so they sit the same way. And that's it really. And I'm gonna turn this direction so I very quickly can run up to the top adding the crystals, because we're always going through the middle 3, adding the crystals as we go along. I'm just very quickly just gonna sew these onto them, and that's it to it really. You can make it as long as you want if you prefer a longer necklace. I just made a little middle piece here, and I'm gonna go and grab another clasp after the Facebook Live and do a little bracelet with exactly the same technique. So then I can wear it as a necklace, or I can wear it the bracelet separately, depending of where I go, or whatever, or what clothes I have on, how I want to accessorize it and dress it up. If you want to do that, if you want to have a front piece and a separate bracelet, then you do need to add an extra clasp to your basket, because the kit only comes with one clasp. And then of course you got your earring to make as well, but the earring is a very easy pattern, and that's all in the instructions as well. I like wearing the earrings on them on as well, and I suspect, because blue is my color, that's why I couldn't find a sample yesterday. We were looking everywhere in the warehouse, that I got a feeling is somewhere is in my jewelry box, or I actually got a little bag of necklaces and earrings, but what lives in my stay away sort of overnight bag. So when I go up to the TV, and I got some jewelry in there, so it might be even in there. It's such lovely, little elegant, and you can see, like, we haven't got so many complicated materials here. All we got is seed beads and crystals. You know, it's a couple of materials. We got a lovely clasp, and you can make something really nice and stunning.
Natalie's asking, what thread are you using?
So I'm using Superlon size D. I know a lot of you prefer a lot of different thread, like, you know, there's Wildfire, there's Fireline, we sell Fireline as well. I love Superlon, and this is what I the most, you know, I've been using this for 15 years now, and when I came across it and started using it, I suppose I stopped using everything else. What I love about it is comes in 36 different colors, so you can always match the thread to the color of the seed beads you're using. So with like Fireline, you got clear, smoky and black, haven't you? And if you're making, you know, a red necklace, or, you know, anything like that, you haven't got a red color one, and it can, oh no, look what happened. I missed that one. I jumped very quickly. Well, I'm not going to take it back right now, but the minute I come off the Facebook Live, I'm going to take it back, and I'm going to go back down and add that crystal. So you can see it happens to all of us. Oh, I jumped a square there. So never mind. So that's it, how easy it is to ready to make it. And there is so many different colors. You can make it the length you require. Let me just turn the camera around so I can see you. Hello. Sorry, crazy hair day here. Let me just pull this down a bit more. Oh, and the earrings. I didn't show you the earrings. So the earrings, you're just going to do a little pattern. Again, just come down at the top, pick up. Just wait a minute or so you can focus on it. You know, you can just create a little pattern there and add the smaller crystal to it. And that's going to be quite nice and elegant to go with your set as well. So what I did with this one, I just created a front piece, and I'm gonna go and take an extra clasp, make a bracelet size to go to the back. So my clasp, I guess, is gonna sit here on the side, but because they're really nice and decorative one, I don't mind them being on the side, because it's just gonna be a part of the necklace, a part of the design feature as well. These magnetic clasps are so great. They little metal one, and they got like this little spotted finish on them. Let me just take it back a bit so the camera can focus on it better. They're really, really nice as well. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. This is really one of my favorite pieces, and you know, if you go, hopefully we'll be able to go to weddings and parties, and very soon you can wear, you know, it's really sparkly, and I just love that necklace. I don't know if this is actually long enough for me, but let's pop it on so you can see. So it's nice with a sort of a a v-neck dress or something like that. A really nice, elegant necklace. So I hope you enjoyed it. And whatever you do, if you are in one of our groups, if you make one of them, please post a picture, because I love to see what you do. You can do the decoration with different colors. You can do it with pearls. You can, it's really, it's up to you that once you learn the pattern, what you do with it, and how you decorate your necklaces. Tomorrow it's going to be me again. We're going to be doing one of these lovely bracelets. I love these ones. These are on elastic, but we are using check nib bits and cabochons. So these are 2 whole beads, and what I love about these, we did a couple of 2 or 3 different ones, I think we did now, with Facebook Lives, and you love it all because it's so easy to take off and to put on. Very, very comfortable to wear. You haven't got threads to sort of deal with. You just knot your elastic together, and because we are doing 4 strands, so as you can see it's on 4-strand elastic, we're going to be using the flossy elastic, and we're going to be using a big eye needle to go through the beads as well. You got 4 strands there. It's really nice and secure, and a very strong bracelet as well, and I wear them all the time. I got quite a few at home, different colors. I was putting some new bundles together yesterday for this one, sort of rummaging through the stock we have, rummaging through all the boxes, and say, well, I like this, and I maybe a bit pink with a bit of blue, or bronze with a purple. It's going to be really good. So do tune in tomorrow and have a look how easy it is to make this one. I love this one because as you create the pattern, you get this lovely little sort of rice oval shape. Your skin is showing through, so it's like a little bit of a lacy bracelet. But if you just look at it on somebody's hand, and I'm gonna take you off because I don't really want to hold my hand in front of my hips, but if you just look at it on somebody's hand, you wouldn't think this is only an elastic bracelet. You would think this is a stitch bracelet. And yeah, so just even if, really easy to take on and put off. And I think that's, in seconds, you can accessorize yourself with it. So that's it for me today. Be back tomorrow. I'll be back on Saturday as well. Saturday I'm going to be showing you, and I'm like, so looking forward to that one. We're going to be doing the bead embroidery pictures. I just love. I spent quite a few evenings doing them at home, and it was again, I just do a few more beads and just do a couple of rows, and I kept sitting down there really late at night and forgetting what time it is. So that's going to be tomorrow. That's going to be Saturday. Sarah's going to be with you Sunday, and I'm going to be with you next week. I worked out a couple of brand new projects, so that's going to be when set 3 Supalon back in stock. Molly, can you check that out, because I think we have all the Supalons in stock, so that should be in stock. But sometimes how they manage the back of the warehouse, some things just sort of goes out of stock. So yeah, so that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do please share the video, because we like to get we like to reach so many people as we can, with our crafty makes. Because if you look at something, you would think it's really difficult, but in reality, it's really easy to make. And you could be making, this could be the first thing what you ever made. We just really love to inspire people to be able to make. Susan is saying, thank you, they look pretty. Thank you for today's demo. I make the dark teal Sienna one while back. Yeah, so do have a go at it. Don't forget 20% off the website. If you put Sienna at the checkout, the word Sienna in there, it will give you 20% off the kits. And just, happy beading. Take care of everybody. I will see you back tomorrow. Stay safe. Keep on beading. Share your pictures, because I love to see what you're doing. And yeah, tune in tomorrow as well. 10 a.m. every day we are here. Rain or hail or sunshine, we will be here for the foreseeable future doing these Facebook tutorials for you. So see you tomorrow. Bye.